Mayor and council members. My name is Leo Oddie. I'm a student at UND, and I am new to Grand Forks as of probably a year ago. So I can't say too much. I just literally came out on Sunday. However, I met this wonderful group of people on Saturday, and they readily took me into their family, and I learned about this. I don't know too much, I'll be honest, but I think one thing that's important when talking about something, one thing that I learned in Congress and debate, is that when you're talking about something, you need hard facts to be able to convince people. So I wanted to come at it from my biology standpoint, just because one of the big things in this discussion is biology, biology in bathrooms. So just as genitals are part of the biology, genetics and the brain are part of biology as well. I think it's important to note that there are studies showing that transgender people are valid. So I have notes here. So the XY chromosomes, there can be things wrong with them in which a person who is born as a male could actually have female XX chromosomes. There are things where, as a person who is born as a female, they can have male chromosomes, XY. A study from the College of Augusta, medical school in Georgia, has shown, this is one of the more recent ones, but as Sarah said, there is a lot of research on this. It shows that 21 variations in 19 genes actually makes it so the pathways in the brain that deal with estrogen reception, which is the main chemical in providing masculinization or feminization, showed variance. So that, simple way to explain this, in a fetus, when they're in the womb, the deciding factor in whether they're born a male or a female is the amount of estrogen they get in the womb. So if those pathways are messed up, a male, so the baby who has the genetics of a male actually gets not enough estrogen to turn him into a female, because for some reason biology is backwards in that way. But if they get blasted with estrogen before they're born, they will have more of a male brain. So really, when people are saying that the brain doesn't match the body, it's actually true due to science. So that's one thing. Endocrinopathies can happen in which the receptors for testosterone and estrogen are messed up. So they aren't getting the amount of estrogen or testosterone they need to present male or female. And then there's also the intersex people who are born with both of the genitals. And sometimes at birth, those are the ones that don't seem to be functioning as well are removed. Therefore, their genitals don't match their gender, which is a huge thing. And excluding those people from the bathrooms that they need to use is just not good. I also would like to talk about professionalism, like Sarah talked about. At UND, we are training to be a career professional, whether that be in a trade, such as like carpentry, or whether that be in a professional field, like business. One big thing with professionalism is tolerance and professionalism. So as a professional, you're not going to call a person by the pronouns that you see when you look at them, their outward appearance. If they give you pronouns and a name, you're not going to call them by the name that you randomly dug up. So when a person meets you and they tell you their name, you're going to call them by their name as a professional. You're going to call them by their pronouns as a professional. And if we aren't having our professors call us by our names and by our pronouns, that's unprofessional and setting a bad example for the students. From a personal standpoint, I get enough misgendering and misnaming at home. I don't need that at UND too. My mom has already told me I'm going to hell, so I don't want my professor harassing me or fellow students harassing me, because I don't need that. I'd like to end with the fact that being out new, I had never really been called my pronouns before, and I had never been called by my chosen name. When I walked in on Saturday to the event that my friend invited me to, I got called by my proper name and proper pronouns for the first time. And you have no idea how good that makes me feel. You have no idea how hard I cried when I heard that for the first time. It was so warm. It was so nice. And I'd like that to happen more. I'd like to get that at school too. That's all I have, but I'm open for questions. I also have that research article if any of you want it. It's the first one I found that wasn't super full of medical terms.
Well, I just want to thank you for coming up here and talking. I think you're a great person to have go last, because you left us all smiling at the end of this. And I can't imagine any of us thought that's how we were going to end the night. But I just want to thank everybody for coming. I think undoubtedly my words were unduly harsh, and I apologize for that. I'm glad to be able to sit here tonight and listen and learn, and I'm glad that BJ's offered to talk and to find a way forward, and I just appreciate all the stories and all the deeply personal stories that everyone was able to share tonight. So thank you for everybody for coming. I do really appreciate it, and I'm glad that you came. So thank you.
Thank you for the apology. Yeah. We really appreciate that. Yeah. Thank you.
No, thank you. It's kind of weird just to move on. I need like a segue now. Anybody have any good? I don't know.
We can always talk about the Pride events coming up.
All right. 7, approval of minutes. And if anyone wants to stick around, I'll be around afterwards too. So feel free. Approval of minutes and bills.